All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm going to call to order the New College Institute Executive Committee meeting here. The date is April 28th, 2023. This meeting was called for at 9 a.m. and we're right around the time. We've got a couple of our executive committee members who are not joining us just yet, but hopefully we'll get them on there. But I do believe that we'll probably have them on, and we do have a quorum, it appears, right? I don't know why Jason Powell is on the TV. Well, Jason, what are you doing here?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I am currently in the office of the governor assisting Secretary Gadara, and I'm here as an interested member of the public.
Well, Jason has been the bane of my existence in finance for 13 years in the state Senate. Actually, he's been an excellent advocate and also a source of information. So it's good to see you, Jason. I was just a little surprised when I looked up on the board to see you there.
Thank you, Senator Stanley.
If Christina, you would call the roll.
Yes, sir. Senator Stanley.
Here.
Richard Hall.
Present.
Delegate Adams. Eric Jones.
Muted, Eric.
Present, sorry.
Okay.
Mr. Technology there.
And
Welcome.
Cameron Patterson. Senator, you have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you recall, our last meeting of the executive committee was in February of this year, February 9 to be exact. There were meeting minutes that were created based on that meeting. You all should have had a copy delivered to you by email, and I believe there's a copy in the packet, which you have as well. Is there anybody who has not received a copy of the meeting minutes who needs to have those meeting minutes sent to them prior to a consideration and vote? Hearing none. Are there any corrections that anyone would propose to the meeting minutes? Hearing none. Having reviewed the meeting minutes and assuming that all of you have reviewed the meeting minutes, do I have a motion to approve the meeting?
So moved.
Motion being properly made to approve the meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second being properly supported by Mr. Jones. Is there any discussion on the meeting minutes of the February 9th, 2023 Board Executive Committee Board meeting? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting the February 9th, 2023 New College Institute Executive Committee Board minutes signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. And those meeting minutes are approved. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the executive committee from the last one, which was very fruitful because it was the meeting by which we determined for ourselves that we were not only going to find an executive director, but we'd found an executive director. And we found an incredible executive director who has been traveling the Commonwealth of Virginia since he came here. He hit the ground running. We're seeing some very exciting things happening already. I'm getting phone calls from people who just have nothing but high praise for you, Joe. So you better keep it up. Don't mess that up, okay? And make sure the meeting minutes reflect that, okay?
Yes, sir.
But ladies and gentlemen, you've probably seen his resume. You were probably either involved or heard about the interviewing process. The offer that was made was, of course, approved by this body, and now we have our executive director, permanent executive director. He will never be able to leave, like the Hotel California, Joe Sumner. So I want to welcome Joe here to this meeting. His credentials are of the highest order, and his commitment to New College is exactly what this institute needs. So, Joe, if you'd like to say some words here to the executive committee, I'd love to hear them, sir.
Sure, yes. First and foremost, thank you to this committee. Thank you to New College Institute and to any members of the public for giving me this opportunity to join the team. I am just excited to be here to really get to know everyone. In the past couple of months, I've had the opportunity to go out and meet with different community leaders to really get a feel of what this community is looking for, to what we can do to be a part of the solution for workforce development. So I'm just thrilled to be here, honored that you have selected me to carry the torch in this position. I'm looking forward to working for you, to working for the community, for working for the Commonwealth, and just looking forward to growing together as we get NCI on track to become the workforce solution provider that we know it is, and that we share our expertise and our opportunities across the Commonwealth.
Thank you, Joe. As you may have seen, Joe has been everywhere meeting with some of our cohorts and certainly stakeholders that we have and businesses that we have in the area, and educators and other educational institutions in the area. You certainly made the rounds, and you have been tireless in those efforts, which I think note what will be a very successful opportunities for New College and successes for our students in the future. So welcome. We're very proud to have you here. It really is going to make a difference in all the planning that we have moving forward. So we also have, as a part of this update, Mary Trigiani could not continue as a board member and submitted her resignation to me. And so therefore, we have her having left the board. That opens up a governor appointment, does it not, Reed?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Reed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And have we heard anything from the governor's office?
I have not notified you. I'll send the
Have we-
resignation.
Have we, do we have any ideas to suggest to the governor for consideration?
Eastman is looking for a seat. Eastman would like a seat on our board.
So Eastman Kodak,
No, Eastman Chemical,
Eastman Chemical, which is one of the largest employers here in
the largest.
the largest employer here in Martinsville, Henry County area,
That's
formerly
correct.
Commonwealth Laminating and Coating, isn't that right, Mr. Hall?
That is correct.
Which would have been your company. So I think as a member of the executive committee, we should probably, you can't tell, of course, the governor who to appoint. Certainly, though, I think our input is welcomed. I don't see it any other way. I'm sure Jason would agree. He is shaking his head yes, so he concurs. And so I think if we have Eastman Chemical who wants to have a member on the board, which would be, I think, very beneficial for us moving forward, then we should inquire as to Eastman if they have someone in mind, and then perhaps suggest that to the governor as the governor makes his considerations on who to replace Ms. Trigiani with. We thank Mary Trigiani for her time here on the board. She was very energetic and always insightful, and just like every other member of the board, Mr. Executive Director, we have a high energy board that is not a show pony board. It really does engage itself in trying to make sure that we're doing the right things for this institute, for the people that we serve. So we'll Ms. Reed, if you can forward something to the governor's office, and perhaps Jason will send it to you directly. Is that the best way to go? Or are you the?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I think that would be appropriate, and I can circulate it within the Patrick Henry building, and certainly the Secretary of the Commonwealth who handles appointments, but I'd be happy to be your point of contact.
Thank you.
I
Thank
will
you,
get
Jason.
you the person that they're recommending and the resume therein.
And that would be great. And that would be a wonderful thing. We also have Delegate Willett has been what's the appropriate word here, Joe? It has been replaced doesn't work, supplanted doesn't work. With the majority of being in the House, Delegate Willett, who I like very, very much, has been replaced by Delegate Ren Williams to a seat that is an elected member of the General Assembly. We anticipate that he will be here. I think, Ren is a high energy guy and has a lot of knowledge of the region. His family runs small businesses throughout the region, has been very successful. He's an attorney, but don't hold that against him. But I think he's going to be an excellent replacement, and we anticipate he'll be here today by Zoom. Is that right?
That's what I'm told.
Okay. All right. So we welcome Delegate Ren Williams, and we thank Delegate Rodney Willett for his service to us, and we wish the best to Mary Trigiani, and we will get those suggestions and resumes to Jason just as soon as we possibly can. Okay. All right. Now, having gone through the preamble of what we're doing here, there are matters which we need to discuss in a closed session. Closed session is a very limited engagement of any board, especially a public board such as ours, to discuss limited matters that are not for public consumption at this time. So I will entertain a motion from anyone here or on the screen who's a member of the executive committee to go into closed session.
At this time,
9:14 a.m., I would entertain a motion to the board that we go into closed session to discuss personnel matters related to the employment, assignment, appointment, and performance of specific employees pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1 and consultation with legal counsel employed and retained by NCI regarding the legal matters requiring provision of legal services by such pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-371A8.
That motion, you're not entertaining, you're making them.
I'm making the motion. Yes,
Motion being
sorry.
made. Is there a second that properly supports that motion?
There's a second.
Mr. Jones supports the motion with a second. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion as properly presented, made, and supported, signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. All opposed, same sign. And the motion carries. We will now, as the New College Institute Executive Committee meeting, go into closed session here at approximately 9:15.
Yes, Ms. Reed stay.
Yes, Ms. Reed, will you stay, Mr. Sumner?
And Mr. Sumner stay, please.
Okay, so all those that are listening currently that are not members of the executive committee, with the exception of legal counsel, and Ms. Reed and Mr. Sumner, please either stop monitoring the recording.
Les Adams has joined back in.
So call him the roll.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You asked him, well, he was.
No, he's off.
All right, so we've come out of closed session and discussing those businesses. As we see our board members joining on the big board, matters that were discussed in closed session will probably be rediscussed by the full board in the closed session in the very near future of this meeting. Is there any other business of the executive committee of the New College Institute Board of Directors? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? It's non-debatable motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second being properly supportive of the motion. Is there any, this is non-debatable. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The aye has it. We are now adjourned. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, the regular board of directors of New College Institute, I welcome you here today. Mr. Hall, you call them in and I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we'll open with a roll call from Ms. Reed.
Senator Stanley.
Present.
Senator Hanger. Mr. Hall.
Present.
Delegate Adams.
Here.
Delegate Williams.
Here.
Delegate Murphy. Dr. Harris.
Present.
Renee Tweedy. Catherine Tanner Brown. Eric Jones.
Present.
Cameron Patterson. Marie Tambury.
Yes.
Rebecca Horner.
Present.
And Mike Edwards. You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you so much. We will have the chairman had to step out for 1 second. We will get the NCI chairman's update briefly. We need to go through, first of all, I'd like to approve the meeting minutes of our November 18th, 2022 session. Does everyone have a copy of those meeting minutes and have reviewed those? Anyone have any suggested changes? Hearing none, could I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
Yes, I present a motion to have the minutes from our last board meeting approved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Horner, I believe. Thank you so much. Just a simple vote there, Ms. Reed.
Yes.
Everyone agree?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. So Mr. Stanley will come back in just a moment. We will start. I'd like to, first of all, start with my own comments. For many of you who haven't met Mr. Sumner yet, Mr. Sumner is our new executive director. I don't think some of you met him. I think Ms. Horner was in on the interview process.
Not for him, no.
No, you were on the other one.
Not
Sorry.
on the other, right.
Yes, ma'am. We got the good one. I'd like to, first of all, take a moment to thank both Eric Jones and, most importantly, Hubert Davis, who Eric and I will both refer to as the man with all the knowledge here, who designed a great deal of the practical portion of the interview, where the candidates came to Martinsville, both candidates came to Martinsville to finish the interview. And he led us all with one statement all along, that the cream would rise to the top. And with Mr. Joe Sumner, it certainly did. And I want to reach out and say thank you so much to Hubert, because you did having your knowledge and background on this was a great help to both Eric and I. Thank you so much. With that being said, we'll get to the chairman's update in just a moment. I would like Joe to take a moment and introduce himself to everyone who hasn't met him, give him a little bit of background, and anyone who wants to ask him a question. Go so. Mr. Sumner, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to join you today. And thank you for this just opportunity of a lifetime to be a part of the NCI team. I come to you from the region of South Georgia. I come to you as a veteran of the United States Army. I come to you as an individual who has career experience in manufacturing, starting at a blue collar entry level and working my way up to an engineering level. And I also bring with me a background in technical education as a faculty member, mostly specializing in manufacturing and industrial technologies. And then the last role that I served prior to joining this team was kind of straddling the line between workforce development and economic development in South Georgia. When looking for career opportunities, my family and I have moved quite a bit over the past couple of years. Just as my career would take me, that's the direction we would go. At this point in my life, my family and I decided that instead of looking for the next career move, we need to focus more on the next community move. And we need to find a place to stay, a place to live, a place to grow, a place to be. So that was a large part of the consideration in moving forward on this opportunity, was not just the career, but the community. Since joining the Martinsville-Henry County community, I have just been welcomed with open arms. I found it to be a thriving and exciting community. I am thrilled to be here. I'm grateful that this community has accepted me with open arms. I'm excited with each new individual that I meet and with each new opportunity that I'm made aware of. Again, I am just beyond humbled to be given this opportunity and to serve on this team. And so I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you that played a role in my selection and for giving me your trust to allow me to lead this organization as we continue to grow and move forward. So thank you. I believe at this time, I think Chairman Senator Stanley and Mr. Hall have stepped out for just a moment.
Joe, while we wait, can I ask you one question?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Favorite restaurant in Martinsville so far?
Oh, goodness. That's probably one of the toughest. Now, y'all put me through the ringer during my my full-blown 8-hour interview day, but that's probably one of the toughest questions I've been asked. Goodness, where do you start? And make sure you don't leave anyone out. I'll tell you, I have had just about anything you can imagine, from plate lunches to fine dining. Goodness, it's just that is a tough question. I can tell you there is a great selection here in
But-
Martin Henry County.
We'll take it up on next. We'll take it up when I see you in person. Maybe.
Yeah, and I probably need to do just a little more recon. I've kind of hit that loop where I've tried quite a few new things, and now I'm starting to revisit some of the ones that I've liked a little bit more, but I haven't made my search thorough enough to give you a true answer on it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, since the chairman and vice chair have stepped out for a moment, would you like to move forward with the executive committee report or wait until they come back in and just take a break? You're on mute.
Let's just give a few minutes in consideration of leadership, and then if not, we'll move forward.
Yes, sir.
You guys waiting on me?
I apologize.
Yes, sir.
Pardon me. Yeah, we'll
And I
discuss.
think I had a wise choice.
All right, where are we now? Have we approved?
Chairman, if we've approved the minutes, we'll go to the chairman's update.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, you've been introduced to our executive director, who is off and running like a gazelle through the fields. Hopefully there are no hunters out there who want gazelles. But we're very thrilled with what Joe's been doing already and moving forward. And as we move forward as the board, certainly we have got some things to discuss today. But I'm very pleased to where we're at. We've disentangled ourselves, as you probably know, when I became chairman, we had to disentangle ourselves from what was some complex issues that reached far and wide in terms of our obligations. We have certain ones that are still unfinished and unfinished business, which we'll talk about. But moving forward, what we have here is an excellent opportunity to put the programs in place that this board has been talking about, working on. Ms. Reed has been doing an incredible job as our interim executive director. I want to thank her for that. And I think Joe will talk about where we're going to go from there based on your report. So my chairman update for the first time in the years that I've been the chairman is very short. We've got some very serious matters to discuss as well, which we'll probably talk about in closed session. But I believe moving forward, we're going to be doing great things, and we've got a great leader to do it. So Joe, welcome aboard. Everyone here, as I've said before, we are a very proactive board. We don't just sit around. We try to find solutions. We're not a show pony board, and we've got some great people that are members of this board as well. So that will be a truncated NCI chairman update. And let's just go right back to you, Joe. I'm going to call on you next to do the executive director report.
Sure, yes, sir. So again, thank you all for allowing me this opportunity to join you. I want to just kind of give you an idea of some things that we've done, a few little highlights so far, and then the directions moving forward. So to start with, I've been on a bit of a listening tour, if you will, meeting with just anyone and everyone within the community that will give me the time to listen. And it's been exactly that. It's been, my intention is to sit and ask the good, bad, and the ugly. Give it to me, and let's figure out what NCI can do to be an engaged member of this community and provide a workforce solution. We've met with elected officials, county and city administrators, K-12 leaders, community college. We visited the other higher ed centers to learn from best practices. We've met with university partners, both past and present, various region commissions, and just the gamut of individuals throughout the community. Anyone that we consider to be a stakeholder, anyone that we would like to hear from, and that list is still growing. So to the members of this board and to those of the public that are present, if there are any that I have not yet connected with and you feel that I need to, please send them my way, and I would love to meet with them and chat with them and see what NCI can do to be a partner. Moving forward, what I have done during my time here, I have taken the code that defines NCI and I have looked at our mission and I've broken it out into basically addressing 4 areas: degree opportunities for this region, workforce development initiatives, K-12 partnerships, and community engagement. In the 4-year degrees, we are looking to continue to grow and strengthen the existing relationships that we have, and we're looking to revisit some of those relationships that may have lapsed during the past couple of years. In determining what opportunities to bring to the Martinsville-Henry County area, what I've done on my listening tour is I've tried to identify, based on the input I've received, the workforce needs that can drive those degree opportunities. The top four that have kind of risen to the top have been healthcare, human services and social working, education, and engineering. So those are my focuses when attempting to connect and develop partnerships with our university partners, and doing it in a way so that it articulates out of the community college system so that we can be that true 2+2. And again, the goal is to bring those degree opportunities so that an individual from Martinsville-Henry County can get the 2 years of the community college, can get the 2 years with us through our university partner, and they can go to work here in Martinsville-Henry County. Additionally, another initiative that I'm looking at is trying to connect with some of our HBCUs in order to establish some partnerships there. We want to make sure that we are bringing in every opportunity possible. And so that's an avenue that I'm looking to approach here in the very near future. In terms of workforce development, what I've done so far is we have met with some of our partners, again, both past and present, working to eliminate any duplication of services that are offered, and also looking to share resources and any types of overlap that we may have where we're serving the same population, looking to complement, not compete. We have quite a bit of successful movement in our Global Wind certification program. Recently, our team attended an offshore wind conference where our gentleman, Mr. Clifford House, who is our GWO expert, was asked to serve on a panel. It was phenomenal success. We after that panel discussion, it was very obvious that NCI was represented as the technical experts in global wind, and we were approached by members from throughout the Commonwealth and beyond, all across the East Coast. It has led to training. We now have on the books, we have a couple of groups that will be coming in and completing GWO certification training with us in the next couple of weeks. So it was definitely a beneficial way to spend our time, and it was a great networking opportunity.
What was, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but was the add-on that we've done with the water safety rescue program, did that make a big difference in that meeting?
So it did, yes, sir. And Mr. House has actually just completed his sea survival certification. And yesterday we actually took a trip down to the quarry in order to go ahead and finalize the designs of the plan moving forward for getting that fully implemented, with the goal being that we will be the only one-stop shop for global wind certification within the Commonwealth and for a good stretch throughout the entire Eastern Seaboard. We are receiving training requests, not just throughout the Commonwealth, but throughout all the nation. Again, it's a very unique kind of a niche certification and expertise to have in-house. And so we're excited by the possibilities that this is bringing to the Commonwealth. Coming up, Mr. House.
Where are we with
Yes,
the
sir.
menu? Where are we with the menu?
So I have.
And when I say the menu manager.
Yes, sir. We spoke briefly with them at the conference, and I invited them to come and visit the quarry with us and to have a meeting on discussing an MOU moving forward. We would hope to become a training provider, if not an exclusive training provider for this certification. So we would ask that they come to the table with us and let's look at moving forward in a partnership.
Yes. Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, yes, sir. On May 17th, Mr. House and myself and a couple others in the NCI team have been invited to be one of the speakers regarding training for the Virginia Asian Chamber of Commerce with a specific focus on GWO certification. Met with the president of the Asian Chamber of Commerce at the Global Wind Conference that we attended, and she indicated that there is a strong desire to seek this type of certification and training within the Asian communities throughout the Commonwealth. So she invited us to come and deliver kind of a presentation very similar to what was presented at the Global Wind Conference. So we are looking forward to that in May. Moving on to that other workforce development initiatives that we have going, we were given an appropriation of approximately $1 million this past year to stand up a fiber and broadband partnership with various members throughout the Commonwealth. We are in the process of utilizing those funds, and we are currently in a grant partnership with Old Dominion to stand up an FBA, Fiber Broadband Association certification, along with curriculum that can then be shared with ODU, and we will take that, and from there it will be rolled into various other certifications, the Fiber Optic Association certification and a Maritime Entry certification. And the goal is, again, to kind of have a selection of various fiber and broadband certifications that meet needs both locally, regionally, and throughout the Commonwealth. We look for all of that to be implemented with the intention of enrolling our first trainees in the fall of 2023. In the realm of K-12 operations, a couple of really great things I'd like to share with you that happened recently. We recently held what we call a cybersecurity event. The name of the event was Incident Response as a Team Sport. And so the event was designed for K-12 leadership and kind of those within the IT sector to come together and experience a simulated cybersecurity attack. It included everything from the technical expertise of our technology providers, such as Dell, internet service providers, cloud service providers, how to respond to it, how to have an emergency action plan, how to conduct training throughout your organization. But it also included things such as information from legal experts. What are K-12 organizations legally required to do? How should communication protocols be established? And then law enforcement officials as well shared what actions need to be taken on that side of things in the event that a K-12 system experiences a cybersecurity attack. It was a huge success. We had over 100 attendees from school systems throughout the entire southern part of the Commonwealth. And it was just an incredible event. We partnered with VISTI and with VDOE on that event, and it is something that we are looking to have occur on at a minimum an annual basis going forward. We also recently hosted a Dollars and Cents event, an event where high schools from throughout the region are invited to bring their students to basically learn about the financial aspects of the careers that they are considering. Do those careers, what type of salary expectations come with those? What type of commitment are you making in terms of the post-secondary education that's needed to enter into that career field? And then just learning a little bit of kind of financial literacy and fiscal responsibility, if you will, as what's needed when they enter the world of adulthood. Again, we had easily over 100 plus attendees from that. Multiple high schools attended that over the course of 2 days. Our first robotics team recently made it to the district championships. Our first robotics team, for those that may not be aware, that is a community team. We actively encourage and invite students from any school system, not just within Martinsville, Henry County, but any within the region to participate. We hope for that to be kind of a true hub for our K-12 systems to really kind of come together, regardless of which school system you're a part of. We are working on recruitment efforts going forward to make sure that as some of those senior students are graduating and moving on to universities that may not be in close proximity to us, make sure that we have a recruitment team in place to continue to develop that pipeline into that program. From the community engagement aspect, throughout the month of February, we hosted several events that we're extremely proud to be a part of, and we think they were a great success. During Black History Month, we hosted events that centered around the Martinsville 7, and then Once Upon a Time, A Village on Fayette, and then Forgiven but Not Forgotten. Those events were anywhere from 70 to 125 attendees for each of those. We heard a lot of good feedback regarding those events, and it's something that we are looking to continue to offer and grow in the future. In March, we attended the Fast Track Trade Show here in Martinsville, Henry County, and it was one of the first times that I had the opportunity to really work with the NCI team kind of as an entire team together all at once. And I'm incredibly proud. I stepped right into a winning opportunity. We actually took home a blue ribbon first place for the best display presence for a nonprofit at that event. Coming up in the future, we are looking to partner with a couple of organizations to host a Juneteenth event here at NCI. And we're also on the calendar scheduled to host a chamber after hours on July 27th. So any of you that might be in the area for that, we'd love to invite you out as we engage the community and host them here at our site. In terms of staff, we're reviewing open positions. We have a couple of open positions as a result of just coming out of a kind of a slow period during the pandemic and kind of some turnover on the team. So we're currently reviewing those open positions to determine their place and viability on the team moving forward, and hoping to fill some of those essential positions very soon. The last thing that I will share with the board is upon my arrival, we have already conducted walkthroughs of each of our facilities. During the pandemic, some of the facilities were not utilized as regularly as in the past. And now that we are ramping back up and opening up to full capacity, there are some things that we are making sure that we address that need a little attention. So we've conducted walkthroughs, we've developed punch lists, and we're looking to utilize some of our maintenance reserve funds in order to address some of those that may need major repairs and upgrades moving forward. That is all that I have for the director update at this time, sir.
That was the fastest great news I've ever listened to. We should enter you, Joe, into a speed talking contest. I think you would be first place. But you had a lot to talk about, and it sounds like a lot of good things moving forward. So are there any members of the Board of Directors who would have a question of Mr. Sumner about what he just talked about really fast? Hearing none? Okay. The next item we'll move down on the agenda here is Executive Committee report. There's a lot of things that I can't report to because we were in closed session with regard to our Executive Committee both now and the meeting that we had. We had a meeting in February of this year in Richmond, February 9th, 2023. The Executive Committee met. Of course, we had at that point in time discussed some issues with regard to Mr. Sumner. We were also in the midst of the General Assembly session. I think Delegate Adams and other elected officials can talk about those issues. But of course, we'd had those articles that were printed in the Martinsville paper and the Richmond Times that came out, 3 series of articles. We had many discussions with many of the legislators, and I can tell the members of the Board of Directors that almost uniformly, and I would say uniformly, I don't remember anything negative. All of the legislators that I talked to were in full support of New College, understood the angle of the articles, did not put a lot of credence into them, understood what our impediments were and why they were during the pandemic, especially because we had to shut down this building in accordance with the former governor's orders that kind of hamstrung us in the ability to do the work that we needed to do. And then we talked to a lot of these legislators, what we were planning on doing coming out of the General Assembly session, coming out of the pandemic, and how we were looking forward, and certainly introduced our executive director around. It was a very positive, I think, exchange with our other members of the House of Delegates and Senate. And I think it will be reflected in, if we ever get a budget, in the fact that the same money was maintained that they had planned for in the first iteration of the biennium budget will be sustained. So I think what our General Assembly knows, and I related to our Executive Committee at the time, is that this is an important part of economic revitalization in Southside Virginia, especially Henry County, Martinsville. That the commitment that the state has made to New College Institute, both in its foundation years ago, in its transformation as the world of education, as you know, Mr. Sumner, has changed and turned on the head of a pin, really, that we are going to be able to stay up with it and stay ahead of it. And that we as a state institution in a state-owned building will be providing success for our young men and women in our area, for educational opportunities, for breaking the cycle of poverty through those educational opportunities, and ultimately helping industries that we have here in those fields that you talked about, and also in assisting bringing new industry into the Commonwealth of Virginia, especially in Southside and Southwest Virginia. So they were very positive about you, Director Sumner, and they expect big things. So don't mess it up, as I told you this morning.
Yes, sir.
I fully expect you'll be successful, and we're really looking forward to having you at the helm. And you've already hit the deck running and are off to a great big start. So we have a lot of expectations, and that's what we really discussed that we could discuss in open meeting here with the Executive Committee. We had some other discussions this morning and discussions in the February meeting that will be discussed in closed session regarding personnel matters and legal matters that are moving forward. And we'll talk about those as soon as I shut up about the Executive Committee report. So that's the only thing I have with regard to the 2 Executive Committee meetings that we've had. We try, as you know, to do everything with the full committee. There are those times when we have to move quickly, whether it be with you, Mr. Sumner, and your hiring, or other personnel matters or legal matters. So that's when we try to utilize the Executive Committee. But I firmly believe that an Executive Committee should be only a complement to the full board, not in replacement of the full board's actions, because we have so many good people on this Board of Directors that I don't believe it's, I believe we do ourselves a disservice if we're not engaging everybody as we're about to engage anyway. We do have some, as I said, legal and personnel matters to discuss at this time. So I will entertain a motion under head note 7 of our agenda to go into closed session. Mr. Hall is recognized.
At this point, Let's see. I'd like to make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss.
Read it a little bit slower than Joe.
I would like at this time at 10:38 a.m. to make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss one. Actually, we don't need to discuss the personnel matters.
Well, no, we're going to discuss personnel and legal.
Okay. One, personnel matters related to the employment, assignment, appointment, or performance of specific employees pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1, and consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by NCI regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such pursuant code to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A8.
All right, that motion being before the members of the board of directors, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second, being properly made and supportive of the motion by Mr. Jones. Is there any discussion? Because I don't believe this is debatable either, but hearing none, all in favor of going into closed session signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And the motion carries. We're now going to go into closed session. People who come here in public and you just. Mr. Hall is recognized.
What's the time? 12:52 p.m. During its closed session, the board discussed only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Freedom of Information Act, and only those public business matters identified in the motion convening the board in closed session.
Roll call will be taken to acknowledge, agree, and or disagree.
Senator Bill Stanley,
Yes.
Richard Hall,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
He's on mute. Yes.
skip them.
Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Delegate Williams,
Yes.
Dr. Harris,
Yes.
Renee Tweedy,
Yes.
Eric Jones,
Yes.
Maria Timbury, okay, Rebecca Horner. Rebecca had to leave. So you lost your quorum.
Who did we lose?
Maria Tambury, Rebecca Horner.
1, 2, 3. We have 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. You have 7.
We need to get Maria back on the phone. She just dropped
Yeah.
when you.
Once the quorum was formed, are you good or do you need it continuous?
No, you're not. You lose a quorum, you lose a quorum. Can't vote on future things without a quorum.
Can someone get Maria on the phone, please?
Yes. All right, I promise we'll move through this as soon as we can reestablish a quorum here. This is
One of you get Captain Rebecca as well.
all right. We're gonna take a 5-minute break.
I agree.
Everybody stretch your legs. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come out of session, we've read the notice. We're gonna take the vote, to establish a quorum, and then we're going to have a motion. We're gonna move on to our budget, and then finish it. We got an important motion that must be made with regard to litigation, and then we'll move from there, okay? Unmuted. We're unmuted and we're back. We're waiting on one member who will jump back on so that we can make this motion.
Maria's in there. Maria Tambury.
I am here. I apologize.
It's okay, it'll only
So
take a
you're
second.
present and you approve closed session certification.
Put herself on mute.
Oh, Maria, you're muted.
You can just unmute for a second.
Yes, I approve.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it?
And then you have, everyone's approved, sir.
All right. And we've maintained the quorum. Coming
Yes,
out of
sir.
closed session, I would entertain a motion that we approve the discussion that was held in closed session where one, we appointed Richard Hall and Dr. Harris to serve as legal liaisons to outside counsel and the OAG in handling the litigation against the foundation that has been approved, including in all matters pertaining to strategy, which will be shared with the board under attorney-client privilege, and also the retaining of those attorneys and the payment of those attorneys as specified in closed session to either resolve and or litigate the matters that were discussed with regard to the foundation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion being made. Is there a second?
Second, this is Ren Williams.
Senator Delegate, not Senator yet. Delegate Williams seconds the motion, which is properly supported. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Before on discussion with OAG present, Ms. Marquez, is that motion appropriate and appropriately stated?
Yes, sir. And I would do a roll call for this important motion.
Agreed. And based on that, Ms. Reed, call the roll.
Okay, Senator Stanley,
Yes.
Richard Hall,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
Yes.
Delegate Williams,
Yes.
Hubert Harris,
Yes.
Renee Tweedy,
Yes.
Eric Jones,
Yes.
and Maria Tamburi.
Yes.
Okay,
That motion is carried unanimously and you all have your orders based on what we talked about in closed session. So that takes care of that issue. We're out of closed session. Item number 8 on the agenda was approval of a revised 23 budget. Ms. Reed has informed the chair that that had only something to do in terms of the retention, the retaining of outside legal counsel, which has already been discussed. So that matter, Ms. Reed, is now moot. Is that correct?
sir.
Okay, so we'll move on to number 9, future board meetings. We've been doing this a long time here. So will you send out, and I think we probably should have a future meeting this summer,
Probably to have one in June.
June? Okay, so let's try to get everybody's void dates and good dates for June. And we'll just do it that way through a calendar ask. Right, okay, and that way we'll move through that. Now we will open the committee meeting, the board meeting for public comment. Is there any public comment? Anyone here in the room, a member of the public or listening by way of Zoom who would like to make a comment? If so, please unmute yourself and raise your hand and you will be allowed to speak. Seeing none, public comment will be closed. Is there any further matters that need to come before this board, either old business or new business, which we have not discussed or discussed previously? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion being made by Mr. Hall to adjourn. Is it supported by a second?
Second.
Second being properly made by Delegate Les Adams. Supporting the motion, this is a non-debatable motion. All those in favor of adjourning the board meeting, the April 28th, 2023 Board of Directors meeting for the New College Institute signify by saying aye. Aye. Am I the only one that wants to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and we'll take Delegate Williams's giggle as an aye as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. I know these are very important issues that took a lot of time. Cam, welcome to the meeting. You're perfect. Your timing is perfect. We will set the next meeting for June. I appreciate the long discussions and very fruitful and energetic discussions that this board has, especially in supporting New College and its future and what its foundations have always been and will be in the future. And so we're going to move forward with alacrity. Mr. Sumner, I want to thank you not only just for being an incredible executive director, but the vision that you have and the efforts that you're making. Mr. Hall, I want to thank you for all of the hard work that you've done on the legal matters. I think everybody on the board should be very grateful to Mr. Hall for his good work, both with the Office of the Attorney General and outside counsel as we move forward. And thank you, and you, Dr. Harris, for continuing to serve as this board's legal liaisons with counsel. I will advise everybody that as we move forward and things have been drafted under the attorney-client privilege, those things will be given to you through our counsel, Ms. Marquez. It is attorney-client privilege, not for dissemination outside, as we are the client. And you will be then apprised of exactly what's going on at all times as we move forward in the matters that we discussed in closed session. In June, what I expect, Mr. Sumner, is that we have, as Dr. Harris likes to say, a 30, 60, 90 vision for these programs, these great programs that I think you're doing. And we are looking in a very solid direction of what we're going to be achieving by the end of this year in 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming and spending your time. Well, I want to thank the people that came to NCI, but I want to thank everybody that took their time out to who's a member of this board to be here on Zoom. We've got a lot of work to do. We're going to do it forthwith and without hesitation. And therefore, I now adjourn this meeting. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Hubie, I'll call you soon to update you.